Hello everyone, it's Doris Colgate on the dock with Steve Colgate. We're doing our hashtag Dockside Chats with Steve, and today he wants to talk about breaking another record in the Fastnet race.
Yes, this one was in 1985 on Nirvana, 81-foot maxi boat, just a beautiful boat that I loved sailing. I was principal helmsman on it and watch captain. And we started the Fastnet race that year. This crew had put on a very brand new light weather mainsail. And I don't know why it was on there, and we reefed it right from the start. And by the time we got out of the Solent, we had ripped the sail just above the reef, and so we had to go to a double reef. Well, I've done 6-7 Fastnet races. I knew that at some point, even though it was blowing 25 now, it was going to be light at some point. We had to get the real mainsail, the regular mainsail up. So around 11 o'clock that evening, the wind shifted and we were on a beam reach. And these boats can go with just a large Genoa and no mainsail almost as fast as with both. And so I said to the crew, we got to change this mainsail right now. And so it took them about 2 hours or so to change the mainsail, but they persevered and they got it changed. And we went through the night. And I was off watch, sleeping the next morning, and I wake up hearing. And whenever Marvin speaks, Marvin is the owner of the boat, Marvin Green. Whenever he speaks, it tends to make me wake up. And I heard him say, well, let's get Steve up here. He'll help us make a decision. So this time, I talked about my race in Norway, rushing up on deck when I heard him speak. This time I said, no, I need to find out what's the problem. Why? What decision needs to be made. And so the captain of the boat, Mike Keyworth, comes down and he says, Steve, Marvin wants to tack over and go into a little harbor off of Land's End and anchor and recoup because the guys are just so exhausted from changing the mainsail. And it's pretty rough out here and so on. So I went up on deck, and I couldn't believe that in the middle of the best race in the world, the Fastnet race, the most famous race in the world, we would go and anchor. It's perfectly legal to do it, but to go and anchor, and because the guys were tired. So it was a long distance from the companionway to Marvin Green where he was sitting. So I got up on deck, and it was a beautiful day. It just the waves were fairly high. It was blowing maybe 20, and we had our full mainsail on and jib and close hauled on starboard tack, and had it was just a fabulous day. So on the way back to Marvin, I said, hey, Marvin, what a wonderful day for sailing. Jeez, this is beautiful. And so I wanted to, tamp down this idea of anchoring. And so when I got to Marvin, he said, Steve, we were thinking that it's sort of rough out here. The guys are really tired, and wondering if we could just go over on port tack and get in the lee of Land's End and smoother water and might be much more comfortable. And I said, Marvin, that's a great idea. I didn't let him say anything else. Marvin, that's a great idea, let's do it. And so we tacked over and we go in on port tack, and along comes Atlantic Privateer with Peter Blake, another maxi that was our competition in this race. And he's on starboard tack, but maybe a mile back. And so now we cover him, and it was then a race to the finish between us and Peter Blake. And it was nip and tuck all the way until we got to the finish line, and we were practically over. I think it was 30 seconds difference. And we were first to finish. We broke the record. So now I've been on the Mare Nostrum in 1955 when we broke the record, first boat to do it under 4 days. And now we've done it again. This time we knocked 12 hours off the previous record. And it was a really wonderful race. And this time I had quite a lot to do with it. Whereas when I was in 1955, I was 20 years old and I was just a crew member. So this was a very rewarding race for me. Thank you.